Yep.
Standing with the world. I once again, Mr. Fly M himself, Mac West with Social Mechanics. I got
Miss Tree, fresh off of the Inspired Life here on the Social Mechanics, and you are?
I'm your boy Sid, back in the building, over here from the With That Being Said podcast with my friends Mac and Trees. What's going on, y'all?
Yeah, it's good to be in the building. What's going on is another day above ground. We above ground and moving around. Shout out to Granny. Speaking of Grandma's house, it's tax season.
Yes, it is.
Ooh, I want to see what everybody out here buying. Well, speaking of tax season, that is a part of what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Who here know that's some people's favorite time of year?
I do. I know that. So,
yeah, it's the hood.
It's the hood.
It's the hood every time.
For real.
For sure.
I got friends
it's
like
Christmas number 2.
I got friends who done spent the money that they are about to get. Like legit, my sister hit me and was like, "Oh sister, the deposit is about to come, so tell me what it is we need from mama because you know I can't save money. Like you don't even have this money yet."
Right.
She gonna kill me telling her business.
You know, everybody that went Christmas shopping, you had to catch up on them bills because they bought them kids, you feel me? And all they lovers, you feel what I'm saying? Things that they, you know, may or may not need it, you feel what I'm saying?
Right.
But put themselves in a bind, and now they're trying to get themselves out of a bind. Or,
Right.
you know, look, the car been acting up, that check engine sign been on for like 2 months, you feel me? You finally get a chance to finally get it, you know, situated, turned off.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, this is a hell of a time for a lot of people.
I mean, it is, but I also think that it's an opportunity for people to do something different. Like, because right along with taxes, y'all know people get these checks cut. And I don't mean checks cut and mailed. I mean, you're getting your 2-week notice. Like a lot of people received, let's talk about that because on the flip side of get money is getting fired.
Right.
We live in a world that is quickly changing.
It's like this. I mean, there were movements and there were things to get this put into place. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people struggled and did what they had to do to get these put into place and get these laws written or whatever. And now, just like that, they can come in and change it and take it back. For what?
Heavy on the because, but I'm gonna let you take it away, Mac. Go ahead and give us your insight.
It's a deep subject. It's a deep subject.
Yeah.
If you ask me, what you think?
I mean, I think that the mere idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion goes against the principles that this country is founded on.
Right.
Maybe it's just me, but I never really felt like this country was designed to be extremely diverse. I mean, yes, it is open to receiving all forms of diversity, but equally providing equity to all people of all diverse backgrounds is just not a reality I ever thought that we lived in, right? And let's get into it. We talking about money, and how do we as a society place value on money? Are we screwed or are we setting ourselves up for success? But to kick us off, do you think financial stability is more about income or spending habits? We'll start with Sid and then we'll have Mac answer.
Okay, I think financial stability is definitely more about spending habits. Because regardless of what your income is, you're just whatever it takes for you to be stable, not for you to have all the extras and have everything else, but that stability and knowing how to budget yourself and divide up your money and do everything that you need to do is more important than exactly how much you're making at the time, you know, and as you level up or level down, depending on which direction you're going in, you have to keep that in mind to be able to use your money wisely and be stable.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. What you think, Mac?
I think both of them. So, but I think the income will tell you your spending habits, you know, ultimately. So like if I get a 20-hour paying job, then I know off the rip like how much my bills are and things like that. Then I'm gonna know how much I'll be able to spend, or just differentiate like your spending habits is different from your income. You like just that in itself is like something like we need to understand.
Right.
You know, a lot of people think that it's the other way around, and it's really not. You gotta handle your business first, and once you handle your business first, then you can handle your spending habits. you gotta pay yourself first.
Right.
You the most important. So once you pay yourself and then you pay your bills and anything like that, then whatever's left over, that's spending habits.
Right.
I mean, you did break it down. I think that does make a lot of sense, especially when we look at things like, let's look at the things that we were just talking about, right? Let's look at DEI and having job market changes and being in a world where things are quickly changing. Let's look at taxes, right? And how taxes land different. Now, if you're the person who's got 5 dependents, no property, no assets, taxes is a whole different time of year for you than it is for your cousin who went to college, has 1 child, 5 properties,
right.
her own business. Taxes is a whole different time. So I think for me personally, I would say financial stability is largely about financial literacy more than anything. It doesn't help me to have money and I don't know what to do with it. It doesn't help me to have a budget and I don't know how to make more money. Conversely, it doesn't help me to be able to make more money and be able to budget my money, and I really don't understand the market that I'm playing in. I might as well be the homeless person sitting on the corner with nothing.
Right.
Because conversely, we're doing the same thing. We're just getting by penny to penny.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's a marriage of the two to answer the question in terms of which one's more important, income versus budgeting. I think it's a healthy marriage of the two that begins with being financially literate.
Most definitely. Because I know me personally, I don't want to speak for everybody out there, but I was born in 1990 and like in the midst of the dope era and everything like that. So only thing that I was taught was to make money, save money, and spend money. So all these new terminologies that's coming around, you feel me, like revenue and financial gains, margin, all the other rhetoric. You feel me? I swear it's like very intimidating. You know, it can be very intimidating to a person like myself to hear all of those words and all of those different languages around money. And when I'm like 30 plus years old, I'm like, damn, all I know is how to make it, save it, spend it. Like, what you mean invest it? Invest it in what? Why? Why should I invest it? And you feel what I'm saying? Things like that. Like, why should I invest in this stock? Why should I invest in this? Why should I invest in that? You know, and then it's just very interesting because it's everybody's starting to get on this financial hype. You feel me? Like, oh, let me see your portfolio.
Let me look at your. Did you watch EYL?
Can I see your Robinhood? You see the stocks this morning?
Did you tune in?
Let's get in Discord. And I'm like, bro, like, you ain't even told me what a stock is.
Right.
I don't even know what is APR. What is an interest rate?
These are really good questions.
Who was Dow Jones?
Oh, I want to get all y'all in the class. I'm like, I want to do a class. This is making me. Y'all know this is where I thrive. And I'm like, oh, I got all these answers.
Yeah, so,
but Sam gonna give us his take too.
Yeah, so that's just from my perspective. Do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Well, I mean, I can relate to that. But I'm also like, I was a 20-year veteran in the Air Force, and coming from Mississippi and like being on welfare, getting commodities and doing whatever it is. When I got to the military, it's kind of like, okay, they give you a baseline of financial literacy and things like that. So, but at the end of the day, when I'm looking at it, when I became an NCO, okay, you can have all E5s make the same thing. You're gonna have a married E5, you're gonna have a single E5, you're gonna have an E5 in housing, you're gonna have an E5 in the dorms. The E5 is married, got kids, got to manage his money and take care of the family. And a lot of times he holding his things together, but you got an E5 over here that's in the dorms, or E3 in the, you know what I'm saying, the same person in the dorms. Don't have to pay for housing, don't have to pay for nothing else, different lifestyle, but it's broke. You know what I'm saying? So
why you broke?
Then you got to come bring them in and say, what are your spending habits? What are you doing? Get them, financially.
So I have a question
on track, because that is, you can't be, when you're in the, you owe the credit card. Hey, Sergeant Newton, Jones owes us such and such and such a money.
Look, so I have a question. Do you guys have a system where you take fellas? They get into that situation, they don't have kids, they don't have the responsibilities, and they're not maximizing their money. Is there an incubator that walks them through how to manage your money? When you leave the military, have you gone through a system that teaches you how to use your money?
No. We have either get it right or you're getting kicked out.
So you're going through the same thing that he's going through.
Right.
Y'all come from two different
You know what
backgrounds.
I'm saying? Like if you get it right, or you're gonna your career you're gonna process
you
out
gotta
in the
figure
military.
it out, right?
Yeah.
Because even in moderated, controlled environments that are the most highly regulated and fall under the most rigorous and close guidelines as to what the country follows,
Right.
you're not being taught,
Right.
right? And so my thing is, we have to self-educate. We have to self-educate around financial literacy, and we have to be willing to take it upon ourselves to learn, because nobody's coming to tell us this stuff, right? You can see examples of men around you who know how to get the money and spend the money, and even though they have different circumstances, the outcome is the same.
Right.
The only way to change that is what we are putting in, right?
Exactly.
So let's continue the conversation when we're talking about getting money, right?
Okay.
So my next question is, let's keep it personal for a second. Given that we all know that we may not have been taught the right tools for financial literacy, what are we doing now to deprogram? Right? Because there's somebody who just identified with what we saying about, like, yeah, bro, that's me. I'm already getting and spending. So what I'm supposed to do? I don't know about margins and all this.
The first thing I did was stop spending.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I did. I just stopped spending. And like literally when I start spending now, like I'm sitting around and looking at the things I spent my money on. You know, so now I'm trying to figure out like what value that I put into this world, or what value that I use my money for.
Right.
You know, and things like that. And so yes, but I started spending my money first, and then I realized what I was spending my money on, and then I realized I needed to make a change, because what you said earlier about things depreciating, you feel what I'm saying, versus things appreciating, I started to pay attention to. So I realized that clothes and shoes and stuff depreciate once you buy them. They wear out, they get dirty, the stains don't ever come out and things like that. But then you got other things that may depreciate but still have value, like a car. You know, like as soon as you buy a car, it depreciates, but that car can make you money though. Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, you know, other various ways, getting people rides, you know, like taxis and stuff like that. So once I start paying attention to how money starts, like really works, I started to make more conscious decisions about, you know, about financial literacy.
I totally agree. And so we got to move on to the next thing. I want to get these questions. But one thing I do want to lend is that exposure will reveal entitlement. So like the stuff that we're talking about, we all kind of started from an even plane. Nobody just gave us this information. Even me, even though I may have a different twang or lingo or vibrancy or comfort level, that's because I've worked in finance for so many decades. But somebody pulled me out of the hood to have that opportunity to be exposed. So I had to be exposed in order to learn my entitlement. So same thing with you fellas. You had to be exposed to seeing one man be broke and another man have all these responsibilities and be broke as well, for you to see that you are entitled to create something different if you're exposed to the tools.
Right.
You had to be exposed to learning how to get it and flip it, and then stepping back to see that you do have an opportunity based on how much you can get to actually do something with it. You're like, I make enough money, why am I not doing nothing with it, right? So exposure creates entitlement. So y'all make this the season of exposure. This is the Social Mechanics Podcast. We're here to get you exposed so you can get your equity, get your money up, okay? Because nobody coming to save us.
Right.
All right, so next question. Let me go with you first on this, Matt. How much money do you think a person needs to be comfortable in the United States?
It depends on where you live, man.
I'll let you go off on this.
It depends on where you live. If you live in California, I would say like you need to leave 15 million. You know, easy. Or New York, you need 15 million
Per year. We're going per year.
Per year.
So y'all have context.
Per year. You need that shit per year. But say like you stay, I don't know, in the Midwest, like in Kansas or something.
Kalamazoo.
You feel me? Probably $500,000. You feel me? Would suffice.
I know Kansas is mad at us right now.
But I'm not
KC
throwing no
is
shade.
like, he's hating.
I'm not throwing no shade or anything like that. But like in honesty, like what do you really need a whole bunch of money for? Like you just need a steady income. You feel me? A steady a high steady income. How
A
about
high
that?
steady income. You sound like a Californian.
Hey, well, that's where I'm from. Shout out to Oakland, California. 510 send up. Anyways.
Briscoe.
Anyways, but yeah, I feel like, you know, if I had $300,000 in steady income, or $250,000 in steady income, you telling me that I can't go on any trip I want? You telling me I can't live the life that I want to live? You feel me? With $250,000, I can't still be healthy and my kids go to school and everything like that. I think any around that type of money, like $250,000 and up, you know, as far as an American, and it's steady, I feel like, you know, that should be able to, like, just a good start. You know,
a good start.
A good start.
I love how you buffer that. Like, he went in strong,
Right.
like balling, taking trips, doing what we want, and then he landed at like a good, like he thought about some taxes, he thought about some gas, right? A good start. Okay, what about you, Sam? You live in this, okay, so considering this country, give us your take. Matt kind of went a brief state-to-state synopsis. What do you think in terms of how much it costs to survive in the U.S. annually?
Annually, I mean, it does depend on location, but I mean, I say annually, 300,000 a year. You know,
It's like the minimum.
Yeah.
Y'all some bougie black men.
Shout out
to all the single women who are looking for good
to be
brothers,
comfortable.
You know, like y'all some bougie black men. Because 300 to me, I'm like, you living high out the hog. We didn't say owning a house or anything like that. We just talking about to live. And in my opinion, I think. Well, yeah, I mean,
see, when you think about it,
eggs be $18, but I still think that's a lot though. 'Cause here's why. Going back to our first question conversation about your income versus your spending habits, and I know a lot of people from down south that live off of way less than.
Of course.
Like you can live. I would say you could live off of $60,000 a year super comfortably. That's being able to have transportation to get around. You're eating well, even if you may live in places where there's a food desert and you have to travel. I think that even incorporates for a little bit of leisurely activity. You know, maybe you have one or two external things that you do outside of the house a month. If you're the person who has $60,000, no dependents, you live somewhere that is affordable and reasonable, and you're acquiring things based on your means, I do think that it's possible. Now, do you live alone? Maybe not. Do you have kids? Certainly no. Do you have a dog or a cat? Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. You can't afford to have, that's luxury, right? So a lot of the things that we consider minimalist or bare minimum are luxuries. And I just think if we get rid of the luxuries, we don't need that 300. Y'all bougie. Shout out to y'all brothers. You can survive on a lot less.
I think it's a little different. I think it's a little different because of emergency situations that we all done face.
But we're not talking about emergency. We're talking about just to survive.
Yeah, but that's survival.
Well, you didn't say survive to survive. You said for comfort.
Well,
to
let's read the question because
like to survive.
Let's see, because
You
I
said
interpreted
to live
it
comfortable in United States. Like what? How much do you need to live comfortable?
So now, yes.
So
if I consider the fact of living comfortably, you do want to make somewhere between 100. I would say a minimum of 100,000 a year because you should be putting at least 10,000, like you were saying, automatically. 10,000 should be going towards a savings.
Right.
Just period.
Right.
I'm just being honest with the situation.
Yeah.
I know that we have this complex of we want to save everybody. You know, and things like that. I want to take care of my family. I want to do this. I want to do that. But we always forget about ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So I need a little something extra for myself after I handle all my responsibilities to take care of my family and things like that. You know, and taking care of all the bills and things that I need to take care of.
Yeah.
Like I need a little bit more than 100,000.
And our mentalities around survival versus thriving. And I think that's something where I definitely have an Achilles heel. I've gotten so good at survival that thriving has become such a luxury. So the things that most people would label as survival means, I'm like, well, we getting by. Like right now, y'all see, I was ready to put everybody like, we can survive off 60.
Right.
We got it at 75. But I've done that though. I've done it.
Right.
And what I will say is it is highly doable. Now, Is it comfortable?
Mm-mm.
Hell to the
No, it's
no.
not comfortable.
Hell to the no. You have to run me my coins. 50, 30, 20. That's really the standard.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever anybody wants to know in terms of how you calculate what you need to be comfortable, here's what you need. You need to have 50% of your funds that can go towards paying your bills.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then you should have another 30% that can go towards allocating towards covering your life needs, like
Right.
your gym, your food,
Groceries.
your necessities, everything that you need,
Like
right?
gas and
Besides
stuff
your
like
mortgage and your major funding, right?
Right.
Your major cost of living. And then 20% should be allocated to savings.
Right.
So whatever that 100% looks like, right? So I've done it on 50. I've done it on 33. I've done it on 107. I've done it a little bit over 100 and some.
Mm.
I've done it, right? But I ain't did it at 250. That's the goal, right? That's the next step, is to get to 250.
You said 50, 30, 20. So
Right.
50
Uh-huh.
on home and things like that.
On your major cost of living.
Right.
Major cost of, so I'm assuming that's rent or mortgage,
That's your-
car loan, car notes and stuff like that.
That's your major, yes, your
okay,
major
okay.
costs.
So 30 and 30s is the bills and stuff
It's
like
like
that,
my
to maintain
minimal
and
stuff. It's my maintenance. Yes.
Groceries, clothes.
It's my hygiene,
Yeah.
my groceries. You know, if I'm gonna take a trip, or the trip is coming out of that as
Oh,
well.
vacations as well.
Okay, okay. And 20 is for us.
20 is to save. Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yep.
Perfect.
So, okay, so y'all said we good on the 50, 30, 20. So y'all
Yeah.
y'all like that? That feels good.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I tell us what the problem is? Can I tell us? I'm gonna tell us. The problem is we live in a country where automatically most of us do not make enough for our income to allot for only 50% to go to bills. A lot of people are already at 65 to 70, if not 75%, meaning most of the money is already going to the bare necessities. Like, all I did was pay rent and try to keep a car and try to get some food.
Right.
So my suggestion to you, we're gonna Nipsey hustle this real fast, because I don't know no other way to be but real. I suggest you just get some more money.
Yeah.
And a lot of us have a problem with that, because then we have complaints, which we call explanations,
Right.
We call them explanations, and I call them excuses, right? I
Right.
can't get up earlier to go to school to take a class, so I could get a side job to learn more. I can't be. I ain't finna be, right? My ain't finna be's, right? I ain't finna be walking to deliver no newspapers for some change. But we broke though. But we broke though. I ain't fit to be. I ain't fit to go back to work for. I'ma drive my Uber because they got me. Who is this they?
Right.
Got us messed up.
Right.
So a lot of it comes down to decision making, and when you expose yourself to people who have shown you how to get through those hard decisions, then you see your entitlement, and that reminds you that, like, if I just sacrifice and make these hard choices now, I can be entitled to these things that I see other people having.
Right.
Because I'm entitled to it too.
Right. I think one of the things that people don't understand, because like I said, we've all come through certain things, and I've been there and kind of had this pride and whatever it is, but you don't understand the actual freedom, the actual liberation that you get when you take care of those responsibilities, and when you do those things according to and live, at your means. Don't live above your means. Don't try to be out here flossing and buying the clothes and buying things that don't do you any good. When you actually spend your money wisely, you're making the money that you get, and you're doing 50, 30, 20 and certain things like that. The way you level up, and that reaching those goals and setting those goals for yourself and leveling up, it gives you so much pride and freedom and everything else that you just, you take it from there, and you just skyrocket on to the future.
You skyrocket right into good credit. Let's talk about this last question. I'm gonna kick this one off for you first, Matt, because I just think this is a great question. I'm gonna kick this off for you, and then we'll hear from you, Seth, and I'll give my little 2 cents. How do you feel about debt? Is it a good thing now? We got our 50, 30, 20. We've established how to be good financial stewards. Credit and debt. Is debt good, or is it fugazi?
Well, shit, you gave it to me to use it, so why not use it? That's how I see it. You gave it to me to use it, why not use it? So it's a tool. So you mean to tell
he real quick and simple on this one.
So you mean to tell me that I can pay you back later?
Right.
So I
good economics.
I can get what I can get now and pay you back later?
Right.
Hey, I think that's a tool to the game.
Rent a Center would be so proud of the generation it raised.
Hey,
Right.
hey, I'm just saying, like, if it wasn't there to be used, it wouldn't be there to begin with. So
shout out to Rent a Center
so-
and Blockbuster. Everybody, mama and them used to borrow
For
something.
real.
Hey, so why not? So that's how I see it. So like, why not? Now I feel like it's a responsible way to do things, and it's an irresponsible way to do things. I believe that if you already, before you even get the stuff, if
What
you're
you
going
gonna
to pay
do?
it back or not.
Who here done got the card and before the card even come, you knew you was about to max it out?
Already.
Everybody know, but I'm not about to pay this stuff back.
Right.
Or you know what? They gonna pay it back when I get it.
But wait, maybe
Or how
sometimes-
about this? When taxes come. I'm paying back when taxes come.
Man, I was gonna do right by them, but then what had happened was
or
the job cut my hours.
Or how about this?
That concert.
How about
It's even
that?
bad.
Or how about that telephone company that gave you them hidden fees, and now you mad and pissed off? I'm not
Right.
paying them back. No.
But you
No.
want you on your.
But I'm
let
on
me
the
get
phone
on
though.
Right.
I'm on the phone though that they gave to me.
Make it up argument. Well, y'all cut my phone off for this, and that. You know you didn't pay that bill. You know you owe them people.
Is that the scam, or are the people who don't pay their debts the
They
scammers?
shouldn't have gave it to us.
It's scammers, and everybody's scamming everybody. It's all a big scam. You know what I'm saying? I mean, with that, you don't want to. I mean, you use it as a tool, but you don't want to accumulate it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to accumulate it and stack it up and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because like when my early years and not understanding money and not doing whatever, of course, if I can go over here and get this or whatever, I'm saying I want this fresh outfit to wear to the Greek show. Dealer's gonna give me this. What? I can go over here and get $300 worth of clothes.
Doing
go
it
out
now.
fresh and whatever it is. Oh, get a letter in the mail. Oh, I ain't even opening that. I ain't even opening it. Like, you know.
You mean your mail? You mean the bill?
The bill. Right. You know.
You
what I'm
mean
saying?
the part you pay?
And now, you don't have an understanding of credit, so you already messing your credit up before you even get an understanding of it and get in the game, because they're out here giving it out to these high school students and college students and whatever.
But y'all are so right though. Like it is. If you didn't want me to have it, this is all y'all friends. Get in the comments. If they didn't want you to have it, they wouldn't have gave it to you. If that's your type of credit hype, get in the comments and give us some feedback. I definitely do agree. It's meant to be used. It's a part of the system for a reason. I also agree. Get your gotcha. I'm gonna get mine and get you before you get me. So yes, I'm gonna use credit. Yes, I think that debt is healthy to a point. If you're wondering what that point should be, you should be doing 50, 30, 20 for how you manage your money. If you can't manage your money down to 50, 30, 20 rule, that means find some more money or cut some expenses. A lot of us don't want to live with family members, and maybe 2 years of living with a family member and saving that rent that you would have paid will change your financial future forever. And then once you do that, have a 45 to nothing debt to income rule.
Right.
My debt to income ratio has to always be 45% or less. So you shouldn't have more than 40% of your income. 40% of your income is the number, the magic number that tells you how much maximum debt you can have out in the world at one time. I always say keep it 30% or less, because we know we lose 10% for skin.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
so just having these things in place. So like if you make $100,000 a year, and if you say, for example, your income's $100,000, you shouldn't have more than $30,000 in debt. Just to keep it real simple. I do think, again, it goes back to our diligence with willing to be exposed, and you hit on something I think almost every time, which is that a lot of times we don't want to challenge ourselves to be accountable, to be exposed to that next level. And so that's what's putting us where we are in the world. As y'all know, we got a lot of stuff going on. MAC, we talked about DEI, we talked about taxes, we talked about get money and how money flows. How do you think all of this stuff is rolling up to the average everyday person? You've been listening this whole time. What can you do with this information? What would you advise the person to take away from this episode, and what's some actionable advice that you would give them, some things that they should do?
I would tell them, number one is to educate yourself first. You feel me? On money, regardless on what it is, how much you got. It doesn't matter where you at. You know, you are where you at. Point blank. Period. But that doesn't mean that's your worth. Your worth, whatever your bank account say, don't have nothing to do with your worth. You feel me? You're worth it. You're worthy. You feel what I'm saying? So you're worth doing the work. But you have to be willing to do the work for you first. But once you step out of your comfort zone and you step into your light, you'll be able to be comfortable with learning new information, which is just broadening your horizon or adding to your repertoire. You just growing as a person, as an individual. And we done always been through rough stages and rough patches in life when it comes to money. You know, we done had money, we done lost money. We done got it again and lost it again. So regardless of the fact is that when you get it the next time, it's just learning how to invest so we can make money work for itself versus we having to work for money all the time. There's plenty of books, there's plenty of internet podcasts out there pertaining strictly to money. You feel what I'm saying? And things like that to better yourself. And now that's all you have to do is just willing to step out of your comfort zone and willing to step into your light and into your greatness when it comes to money. So a minimum wage mindset will yield minimum wage results. When you start thinking like a millionaire, you'll start getting paid like a millionaire. All right?
I love it. I think you have given us everything that needs to be said. But with that being said, did you have a 30-second wrap up or any last minute words of advice you wanted to add to the viewers at home about what they can do with this information we've shared today?
Take everything in and really be conscious. Sit down. Know what you do your budgeting. Like, just know where your money is going, knowing how you're using your money, and just, don't be afraid to pull the trigger and just cut some stuff off. Just start right there.
Yeah, I love that. Get in the comments and let us know if you guys want to talk more about this kinds of stuff. We really want to hear from you. And so in order for us to get inside the mind of Mac, we got to have the community attack. We are the Social Mechanics. What's really going on in terms of how you value money or how money is playing a part in the decisions that you're making for your family, love life, or business. And then get back to us so we can keep this conversation going. Mac, any words of wisdom, final closing thoughts for the people at home? Take us away.
Subscribe, like, you feel me, press the follow button, all that, share with everybody and things like that. That's what I wanted to say. Financial freedom is the key. Whatever that number is for you, make sure that you go out there this year and you strive to obtain it, because that's the ultimate thing that we want. We want our time back. You know what I'm saying? So financial freedom is key. So whatever that financial freedom looks like for you, like said, write it down. It might be 6-month trips to Bali, Australia, and Japan and stuff, or it just might be a little nest egg, you feel what I'm saying, with a ranch and some chickens and a little farm and stuff like that. So whatever that financial freedom looks like, you feel me, go talk to a financial advisor or somebody who knows some money. Yeah. And make sure that you reach your goals. You feel me?
I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being with us. This is the Social Mechanics Podcast. I'm Treese, the edutainer.
I'm Mac West, Mr. Fly M.
That's it.
And we will see y'all soon. Peace, peace.